Hello, and welcome back to the Fit House Podcast.
Hi Gina, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful as well. We received so much feedback from our video last week where we talked about some of the struggles that both Gina and myself are currently going through. And the biggest question that people had for us from the feedback that we got was, how do you just put your head down and like go on autopilot and robot through when the going gets tough, and what motivates you to be able to do that? You want to go first, Gina?
No, you go first.
All right, so I'm on autopilot right now with a couple of things. I am on autopilot right now with my personal workouts. So in addition to what I have going on right now that I shared in the video last week, when your body is under great stress, all systems tend to go down. And for me, one of those systems is I have 3 herniated discs in my neck. I have those herniated discs from when I was a professional wrestler. I was dropped on my head from, I'd say about 5-6 feet off the ground. I landed smack on my head. I was literally deaf for, it seemed like hours. It was only a couple of minutes, but I couldn't hear a thing, which is really scary when you see people's mouths moving and those sounds coming out. I remember watching the video back after. You can literally hear an audible crack in my neck when that happened. There was a lot of recovery involved back when that happened. I was in my early 20s. It was re-aggravated in the year 2017 out of the blue. And it was so bad at that time that I could barely lift a 5-pound dumbbell over my head. I remember being at work spotting some people on a chin-up, and I was like, I hope they don't notice that they are getting no pressure out of this arm, because I just had no physical strength there. So it got re-aggravated a couple weeks ago, and I can barely hold my daughter in my arm right now. That's how bad it's bothering me. I could barely press a 25-pound dumbbell over my head. So what do you do about it? Number one, there's a soft tissue specialist that I see, and after he did a little work on me, I am well on my road to recovery right now, so I'm very optimistic about that. Before this happened, I would say this has been one of the best periods of progress in my entire life. I was at my, I will say, you know what, I'm going to make a bold statement, Gina. I'm going to say I was at my absolute biggest and leanest that I have ever been in my adult life, maybe 4 weeks ago. Let's say 3.5, 4 weeks ago. I felt incredible. And when you feel incredible, it's like your workouts, you're just even more motivated by them. Everything's better. From the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed, you feel incredible. And all of a sudden, I feel like that was taken away. I have to bring all of my workouts back to structural balance workouts. So things that are going to help this area, and coincidentally, when this area gets hurt, I have an area down below that gets hurt as well. So things that work on that. The way I'm motivating myself is twofold. One, I know what's going to happen if I don't. Like if I don't work out right now, if I just, let's say I take my gym time and I come at home and I sit down and I watch TV instead, or I lay in bed, or even do something a little more productive than that, like going for a walk. One, that is going to prolong the amount of time it takes for my body to heal. Training properly will make my body heal faster. And two, right now, I can hold on to everything that I have gained up until this point. You lose muscle really, really quick. Just like if you don't brush your teeth, you lose the results of your teeth really, really quick. So the idea of what happens if I don't do it is enough to motivate me to do it. And then I also look for examples of other people who have been through similar experiences. There's one particular example. It's about a hockey player who had injured something, and as a result, he was forced to go to structural techniques and training for a period of 12 to 16 weeks. But when he came back from that, his foundation was so put together that within X amount of months, he far exceeded everything he was at before then. So looking to other people and seeing what other people have accomplished, that's motivational for me as well. So that's one thing I do a lot in my life is I'll look for somebody as an example, and that example is motivational to me to help myself do better and to keep myself on point. So that's what's going on in terms of my training right now. How about your training, Gina?
My training consists of me showing up. I'm showing up at the gym, and that is like where I'm at right now. There are many times where I am not even hitting the numbers from the week prior, and there are many times when I barely can like lift anything. And I think there was like literally one time where I think I did like half the weight of the week before because I was just like so tired and suffering from sleep deprivation so bad that I'm like, this is all I can physically do. And I want to show up because I know what happens if I don't show up.
I'm laughing because as you're saying, you keep saying there's many a time where as her husband, I could say, you know what, Gina, don't go to the gym today. You didn't sleep last night. You're not feeling well. Why don't you just stay home and rest? And the reason I don't do that is because I know I would be doing her a disservice. And that's what you were about to just say.
Yeah. Because honestly, more often than not, I'm not feeling good. So if you took all those days, it's probably, I try to get to the gym 4 days a week. If you take all the days that I'm not feeling well, it's probably 3 out of those 4 days. So if I didn't go to the gym on all the days I wasn't feeling 100%, it would be like 1 day a week. And that is not enough to maintain or see any progress. So I show up, I do what I can. I feel like I should knock on wood. I think this is wood. I have been sleeping better the past few nights. But pregnancy, especially with a toddler this go around, has been taking a lot out of me. So my workouts have not been, superwoman workouts, but I'm showing up, I'm getting it done, because if I don't, I'm gonna create a slew of problems for myself, for my baby.
And can I interject one thing?
Mm-hmm.
I know you're saying you'll create a slew of problems in the short term because you'll have even less energy. You'll feel more like training shouldn't be treated like a hobby. It should be treated like a responsibility. Just like brushing your teeth is not a hobby, it's a responsibility. And it's a responsibility to yourself. It is what gives you energy. It is what gives you motivation. It is what gives you those endorphins and drive and more motivation to do more. So you would be disservicing yourself in the short term. But you know the expression, this too shall pass?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's it going to be like a year from now or less than a year from now, right? When our new baby is born and you haven't trained that whole time, like, doesn't that seem like an insurmountable game of catch up that you're going to have to be playing when you're mentally feeling like doing it again?
Totally. I remember last time I almost worked out the day I gave birth to Taya.
You started too early last time. I told you. Go ahead.
I almost worked out that day, and I was like having contractions. I'm like, I think I can do it. And my doula's like, you need to sit this one out. But up until the day before she was born, like I was working out the whole time, and I reaped the benefits. Like my birth was great, my recovery was great, and I was able to get right back into the gym. And I honestly don't think I saw any muscle loss or any atrophy, to be honest. And this time, like, I saw what could happen if you're diligent and consistent. So this time it's like, okay, I need to do this. I saw what happened last time. Like, I was super consistent. I was super diligent with my workouts, and I tried my hardest, and it got me to, all of those great benefits. And so this time around, I want to try to, do a repeat. And
I was just gonna say, like what you said about you feel good like 1 out of 4 days right now, right? In terms of training, that's one of the biggest mistakes that I see people make is they don't show up and train when they're not feeling good. Something is first of all, going through a period of stress is one thing. So when you're going through a period of great stress, you still need to show up and train. It will help you get through that period of great stress faster. And it will also make sure that when you do, you don't have the added stress of, oh my God, I'm starting so far behind the 8 ball now. I don't know how I'm going to catch back up. But also, I'll see people miss because I had a bad day at work and I just don't feel like doing it tonight. Or I didn't get the best night's sleep. Or in the summer, a lot of times, oh, it's nice outside, or it's just that. But they don't realize how much those things add up. And when you're inconsistent like that over time, your progress is going to, be minimal if anything, but in a lot of times it moves backwards. There's some things that we don't talk about, and maybe we should talk about these more, but it's like the training effect and the detraining effect. It's like if you train on a Monday, you don't just keep the results from that for 2 or 3 weeks. Like you lose the results within a very short period of time unless you're training that same thing again to get another training effect. So you become detrained if you're not consistent with your training. So you know how you train 4 days a week? Let's say you kept missing, your Wednesday day of training. Over the period of weeks, you would become detrained at that Wednesday. You're literally moving backwards. Even if you're getting your other days, you need to be consistent with everything.
Yep.
I usually break out a graph for that one.
We don't have any graphs today. But yeah, and the same can be said for nutrition too. Like, you're not feeling good. You have a stressful day at work. You are a mom and everybody else needs to get fed, and by the time you feed everybody else, and if you're making separate meals, like I used to have people say that to me all the time, and it used to be like, all right, you can make some separate meals. Now, like, I get it. It's exhausting, and you really have to be intentional about feeding yourself and taking care of you. So the same can be said for nutrition. Like, you just have to do it even on the days that you don't feel like it.
But I'm watching you right now. So you're going through your period of stress that you are right now. And your nutrition is not a 10 out of 10 right now. But I'm watching you get it done, and you started doing something new the other day that I saw you doing. So what is it that you're doing, and how is it helpful to you?
So I grabbed some meals from a meal prep place because I'm like, I can't like wrap my head around thinking about what to feed myself. For like, first of all, when I think about like what I want to make, nothing sounds good right now. And by the time I make food for like Chris and Taya, it's like the same thing for me doesn't sound good. So grabbing some meals for like, at least for dinners or, some lunches too, it has made it so much easier for me. And are the meals like perfect? No, but they're balanced, and they're, I'm making them work with my nutrition right now.
I hate the word balanced though.
Well, that's the first thing that came to mind.
I know what you mean. I hate the word balanced because...
I mean balanced in terms of like what I can do for my like macronutrient needs. How's that?
Okay, fair enough. Because I saw your meal the other day, and that's the reason why I say your nutrition's not a 10 out of 10 right now. But you're under a period of great stress, and you're making it work for you right now to the best of your abilities and what you have to give right now. So in that regard, I would give it a 10 out of 10. So Gina's not going to go to the meal prep place forever, but for right now, that's an awesome save for her. That's allowing her to modify her nutrition in a way where she's going to get some good quality nutrition in and be able to hang in there when it's tough. I tell that I was having this conversation with a girl I trained a couple of nights ago, and we were reflecting on how a couple weeks previously, she had come in and she just looked run down. She had a rough day at work. She just looked run down, and she was saying, I just can't do this workout tonight. Could we please modify it? Absolutely. So I gave her something completely different. I hate to use the word easier, but it was a little more user-friendly for being really run down and having a rough day. We did a completely modified workout. She still got her training session in. She felt better after she was done, And she was consistent. So it's like she was telling her brain, this is what we do, even if we're not feeling our best. There's that. Then there's also the physical benefit of she was consistent. So she's going to be moving forward. There's always things in life that are going to come up. I am on, would you call me autopilot with my nutrition right now, or how would you describe it? I'm going through a tough time because what I have going on medically, there is no doubt a nutritional component to it right now. So I'm doing a lot of detective work to figure out exactly what is going to behoove me the most with my nutrition to help expedite my recovery and get me to feel better. So that's frustrating in a way. Gina's tapping me because we are on a hard stop time limit today. So why don't we end it right there and we could pick it up next week?
Sounds great.
Do you have anything else you want to add?
No.
All right. We hope you found value in tonight's podcast. We appreciate all of you. And thank you to everybody for all the feedback from the video listener. Even though our clients never post everything on Facebook, they are more...
Feedback is helpful because we don't want to film stuff that you guys don't want to see or that you don't care about. So.
Yeah, so you don't, I do understand the idea of not wanting to necessarily post publicly things on Facebook. So we do appreciate the in-person feedback. It does let us know that we're on the right track and that we're providing value to you because that's what this is all about. Mm-hmm. Our way of staying in touch on days of the week that we're not together at training. So we hope you all have a wonderful evening. Take care.